Excuse me, sir. Mr. B.
Yeah. It's JV, by the way.
Mr. B. I beg your pardon.
It's JV.
Yeah, that's what I said, Mr. B.
Okay.
Do you like luxury?
Oh, I love luxury.
I mean, do you really, really like luxury?
Oh, I mean, love it.
Well, then you, sir, should drive a Mercedes Benz.
A Mercedes Benz. It looks a little rough. The paint's peeling on the hood. Can you have something with some nice
mate.
paint?
You should see the power plant in here. What we've got here. You mind giving me a hand here, mate?
Wait. All right. Shouldn't you know how to do this?
It's British quality, you know.
I thought these were made in Germany.
Well, they're British too.
Okay.
The engine's built by Britain. So this is AMG's finest twin turbo V8.
It's an inline motor, and it's diesel.
No, mate. Are you even British? Do you know?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not British. I'm sorry. Continue.
All right. So
it looks a little rusty though. It's like got leaks.
No, mate. 5,000 horsepower is going to put out a little bit of oil when you hit the gas. All right, mate.
I guess 5,000 horsepower would put out a little bit of oil. What's the interior look like on this thing?
Oh, the interior is perfection, mate.
So the interior looks a little rough.
You call that rough?
I mean, I literally see green mold growing on the floor right there.
No. If you take a look here.
I mean, don't you see the green mold growing on the floor right there?
That's the color of the carpet, mate.
Oh, is this one of those environmental friendly cars?
It's a green car.
It's a green, it's a green car. Wow, all right.
If you take a look here, AMG added this specifically to give you like 900 more horsepower.
Oh, does this help with aerodynamics?
Now it cuts back on the air conditioner.
Oh, okay.
The wind blows in, you don't have to use the air conditioner.
Roger that, yeah, okay.
If you take a look here, we have more air vents right here, mate.
Is this aerodynamics? AMG uses bubble wrap. What's behind this? Is there supposed to be a hole there, brother?
Yeah, mate, that's airflow. Cool off the braking system.
Oh, that's a brake cooling duct.
All right, mate.
Okay, all right.
If you look, you've got beautiful Mercedes Benz. It says petrol.
This says turbo diesel.
It says turbo petrol.
Turbo petrol. But
do you know proper English?
I don't know.
Do you speak the Queen's English, mate?
I don't speak the Queen's English.
Don't offend me.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry.
If you take a look here, get a good shot here of the gas pedal.
Yeah. Why is it on a string?
It's so fast. If you push it all the way to the ground, you can't control the car.
Oh.
So we had to tie it off. That way you can't hit the gas too hard.
It looks like you can't hit the gas at all.
I mean,
that's how fast it is?
It'll pop a wheelie if you do.
Oh, okay, it'll pop a wheelie. Wait, why is the window switches hanging off the door?
I told you, British quality.
It's all good now, right?
British quality.
Oh, looks, there's not even window switches on it. Okay, is that real wood right here?
100% British made oak.
Can you put that back?
What do you think? 300 grand today.
300 grand. Man, I was thinking like $300.
All right.
A deal. Hey everyone, welcome to Murphy's Law Garage. Mikey's doing his best to be a prankster today. Was that genuinely your best British accent?
It's a little cold, so I'm not on my A game today.
His Queen's English doesn't work when it's cold. All right, everyone. Well, meet our 1984 Mercedes 300 SD Turbo Diesel. Only 4,000 of these beautiful cars were made for the American market back when the W126 platform was being produced. A little history on this car. I went to prom with my wife in this car. This was my mother's car. My dad bought it for her out of somewhere like North Carolina or something, I believe. It had a full repaint. But that was a very long time ago. It's like 2005-ish. The car has had a lot of life and love since then and has been sitting for quite a while and needs to be brought back to life. As you saw in our very funny intro, Mikey was trying his damnedest to defend the many deficiencies the car now has, but it's basically going to be something where to save it, we're going to have to bumper to bumper start over again.
I forgot to mention that new car smell.
Oh, she's got the new car smell. That's why all of the doors are open to try to help the new car smell get the hell out of there, because it's pretty rough. The sunroof started leaking at some point, and looks like maybe the back window might not have been sealing well, and it has rained into it. It's got a nice big fist-size hole in the rear quarter panel where it's been raining into the trunk and inside the body panel, so it smells a little
Ripe.
green, however you'd want to phrase that. But anyways, this is the infamous OM616 L5 or inline 5 turbo diesel Mercedes motor. If we can get this start today, and that is our plan, to actually start and try to drive this home, I really don't want to have to give up and tow it, but if we have to, we will. You will hear the most epically 1960s tractor clattering noises you've ever heard in your life, and it's comical, it's hilarious, it makes almost no real power. I mean, compared to modern vehicles, it's slow as hell, but it is as gangster and OG as anyone could ever imagine. And yes, if I can make this thing run, clean it up, and it drives reliably, I'm going to sell the Corolla and drive this as my new daily driver. Rolling coal and making clattery noises everywhere I go.
I was going to ask if you can get it running today. Are you going to roll coal today? Or
I
is it
mean,
gonna be nice and easy?
if she'll move, I'll give her one. I mean, look, if I can break an OM616 that only has 200-something thousand miles on it, I mean, it was going to go regardless. These are million-mile motors, just like a Cummins, so they're known for extreme reliability. In fact, the fact that it's been sitting for a few years probably was just a good nap for it. You know, she's going to fire right up and drive out of here like nobody's business, right? Right?
Hopefully.
So,
if not, it's going to be pretty sketchy trying to tow this thing over that bridge.
So what forced this thing to be parked is the also infamous key cylinder failures of the 80s and early 90s that these cars were known for. Even though this was an oil sheik's car from Saudi Arabia whenever they were made, is what it was intended to be for the wealthy people, and over 300 grand new in today's money, the ignition cylinders have been breaking since about the first 5 years of their existence. So that's what we need to do today. We have the parts. In fact, not only do we have the parts, we have the owner that bought the vehicle from my parents. Miss Lois, would you like to get in here? This is Miss Lois.
Yeah.
Lewis or Lois? Lois?
Lois.
Lois, yes, okay. She's just so happened to have posted this on Facebook, and I saw it on Facebook, and there's only, like I said, 4,000 of these made for the US market. These don't just show up. And when I saw how shiny and black and pretty it was, I'm like, that has got to be that car. And then I contacted Miss Lois, and sure enough, that is most definitely the car that I was once driving around, and my sister left a dent in the door with her big head back in the mid-2000s. So, well, Miss Lois, I'm glad you get to be here and watch us try to start it.
I'm glad that you're getting this.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad you are.
We're very appreciative.
Made me very happy.
Yes, ma'am. And she's definitely happy because, you know, little did she know prior to that we have a YouTube channel, and she even gets to watch it come back to life, all on video. Well, all right. Mikey, what do you think? We try not to break it any worse than it is, though I probably will, and try to get it to start today?
I think I didn't agree to all the cold. That's what I think.
Yeah, you know, it is
be cold today.
South Louisiana, and we don't ever expect the temperature to be below 70 degrees, and it's 60 right now, and it's painful. So we'll fight through that. We'll have y'all back in just a minute when I'm digging in the ignition cylinder. Look, it's right here.
Right in front of you.
Mercedes put it a nice shade of grayish white to blend in with absolutely everything else in the engine bay. That is way too much oil on that dipstick.
There's a lot. How's it taste?
You want a paper towel?
Like old Mercedes. Miss Lois suggested that we check the oil. I'm going to say this is probably more oil than is supposed to be on this stick. We're about to find out. And this means one of two things. Either this was accidentally overfilled at some point and ran that way, which probably, being that it's an OM616, wouldn't hurt it, or a diesel is getting past the rings as it was sitting and gotten into the oil. The thing is, I don't smell a bunch of diesel in the oil. So I don't think that's what, okay, that's much more realistic. It's high, but it's not so high that I'm concerned that it was about to start pushing oil out of every seal that exists in it. And it's definitely very dirty. It needs to be changed.
A nice dark color.
Yeah. All right, y'all, we're gonna work on the ignition cylinder, and when I've got it splayed out, I'm gonna bring y'all back. All right, so much like any classy 80s car, we have 2 keys. I don't think this initially would have had 2 keys, but because it's a Mercedes and the ignition cylinder has been replaced 8,000 times, there are indeed 2 keys.
Oh, Lord.
Hi, Michael.
You think this is helping? I think
Yes,
it's helping.
definitely. Wow, that's a strong string. So anyways, this is what's happening. You stick the key in it, you rotate it, and there's nothing there. Like, there is no engagement to ignition. So we need to take apart the ignition cylinder. We've got some replacement parts from Beck Arnley laying around here.
Oh,
Hey, bro, stop taking the wood off my shifter.
I touched it.
Come on, man. Look, that's normal. Just leave it.
Sony stereo.
It's classy. It's classic. It's classy-ish. We're gonna get the ignition cylinder out, and we'll be right back. Thank you. And then you should be able to grab this black collar and break it free. I've got a feeling that no doubt this is going to go the way of the dodo and force me to take it all off. But I'm going to try the right way the first time.
Sure, it's going to be difficult to remove.
Bruh, come on! You keep breaking all my beautiful wood off. A wiring harness. And then this ignition cylinder keys into this. And then Bob's your auntie. This is what I'm trying to take apart right now. I can show you that mechanism I'm trying to engage in there. So whenever you rotate the cylinder to just the right position, you see how that groove lines up with this right here?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get this to slide down. And when this slides down, then that cylinder should slip out of the door, out of the tumbler. This beautiful feat of 80s engineering, Mercedes thought this was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a good idea because they could sell a $400 tool. They took that out of Chevy's playbook.
So the ignition harness for this thing is just clipped onto the back. It just
Could you try again?
It just clips onto this. So if I can reach back there and just slide the wiring harness off the back of it, I might actually be able to clip this one on, put it in, and then bloop.
Like you can see the.
At least if I can cheat and get it to my house, I can sit in my driveway and fuss with that. That's right, Brittany, get in there. All right, everyone, hi. I've attempted to disassemble the ignition cylinder, and it's a little froze up, and I'm tired of playing with it. So we have a new ignition switch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to steal the wiring harness from down here, plug it into the new ignition switch with no key in it, and use a screwdriver to turn it. And we should be able to basically make it look like we stole this car. So y'all give me just a minute. We're going to hot wire this, and if I can get you in here, I will. If I can't, whatever. Be right back. This in here, that's it. I've replicated the ignition cylinder. I can start this car now. All you needed was a spare ignition cylinder.
It's awesome.
So is that why they're so easy to steal in Grand Theft Auto?
Probably.
Oh.
All right, so I've put the new ignition cylinder and the old ignition cylinder's place under the dash, like easiest car in the world to steer. Y'all come with. I've had the battery charger. And if any of you are wondering why Mikey's not being more involved, Mikey's on light duty recovering from an injury. So
And
all
I'm
he
very
can do,
cold.
yeah, it's cold. So all he can do is, watch and be supportive.
But hey, look what I did do. I found Waldo.
This is showing that the battery is taking about 20 amps. We'll probably have to turn this up more. I'm going to leave it. Yeah, like see, it's a little over 20 amps it's taking. So that's a good sign. It means the battery may recover. Thankfully, someone disconnected one of the battery posts from it, so it most likely didn't go completely flat. It still had some charge to it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stick a screwdriver in a brand new ignition cylinder that I have plugged up under the dash, because you know that makes a vehicle not difficult to steal. And let's see if it'll turn over. Y'all stay right here in this area for when things inevitably fly all over the place.
And
maybe.
I hope we have a water hose somewhere around.
Oh, you know, it
Just
would
in
help
case.
if I hooked one of the battery cables up. Okay. Figuring you out, Mercedes.
She's humming.
Is it supposed to make that noise?
I mean, it's going to blow the fuck up.
That's the door. It's saying the door's open.
Yeah.
Just very, very sickly.
All right, camera's rolling. We're in park. Emergency brake is useless and doing nothing. I'm going to be in a great place to be laying down. All right, so as you no doubt heard, it tried to turn over. So now that we know that that worked, let's go for full send. We're at 250 amps. She is stiff.
It takes a lot.
And that battery is very weak. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to need to do, we're going to have to give this battery more time to recover. I really, really wish I had the forethought to remove this battery when I was here last, bring it with me and let it trickle charge for a few days. So we're going to talk amongst ourselves for a while and give this battery some time to recover. If after some reasonable amount of time it has decided that hell no, I won't go, we're going to pull the Cummins up in the yard and hook a pair of 1,000 cranking amp batteries to it, and I will make it start. We'll give this battery a chance to make itself right though. We'll be right back.
And yeah, be careful not to knock those jumper cables.
Yeah,
Sparks will start flying.
They're
and you will
currently
freak out.
attached to about $2,000 worth of cranking amps down there. All right, everyone. So as Brittany is showing you, the big white Cummins truck is over here, which recently got about $400 worth of new batteries. So she's got some gumption now to turn this thing over, which, by the way, it's crazy how you never really know that something is becoming a problem until it is a problem. Like that truck has always been very slow to turn over. And when we put those new batteries in there, scratch that. When I put the new batteries in there and I turned the key, like that thing didn't make it a quarter of a rotation around before it popped off and went. It was pretty impressive. So anyways, I hold in my hands about 2,000 cranking amps worth. Mikey, let me see your nipples.
No.
Come on, come on, bro. Get in there. About 2,000 cranking amps worth. I'm going to
You're lucky I don't have any metal on there.
pull that charger off. We're going to hope that the truck has enough balls to help this start. We stopped and ate lunch. We've been giving it some time to catch up. Let's see, I'm going to put that right there. I'm trying to leave enough room to put the charging pack back on it, while also getting a real good bite. Then I'm also going to feed it 250 amps, and all this is going to do is keep us from having to start the white truck, and y'all have to hear all that noise because you know Cummins.
I think it sounds good.
I mean, it sounds fantastic, but this will take the place of the alternator running.
Oh God.
Windshield wiper.
Whoa, yo. The problem is the Napa battery is so low right now that it's not doing a good job of bolstering it. So what may end up happening, and I really don't want to do this because Mikey's battery cables are near end of life expectancy, if not at it, and another removal might result in them never going back on again. We are most likely may have to take the Napa battery out of line, and at the very worst case, if the Napa battery on this end can at least support some of that amperage, I might have to break down and take Mikey's truck or the Corolla and go get a brand new battery for this thing. But it's still taking a charge, so we're going to give it a little while longer. It appears to be catching up, and then we'll start the truck and turn the jumper pack on and jump them to each other and turn the key. If after a little while longer it still doesn't want to go, then I'll have no choice but to put a new battery in it. I mean, realistically, it should have caught up enough by now to start this car, and it could mean that there's a dead cell in the battery. All right, old girl, give it up. Well, it needs to be replaced. She needs an air filter. But
That's a pretty epic air filter.
it's OG, bro. Okay, well, there's no mice in there. That's all I needed to know. Look how nice it starts now.
Yeah,
It's like,
all them torques.
hi, I'm sure you can't really hear me right now. Maybe the mic is doing something. Anyways, this is the best case scenario. Every inch of every bit of amperage we can throw at it is about to get thrown at it. And if it refuses to turn fast enough, we have one of two problems. Either the cell in that battery is dead and it's not going to give us what we need, we can't get enough voltage through it, or the starter or the leads might be going bad, not letting it turn over. It was running at some point 2 years ago, so let's hope that's not what that is. All right, so it's spinning slightly faster, but there's obviously not much amperage going through, and his battery is getting warm while this happens. The leads are pretty cold, which means there's not a ton of amperage moving through them. So what we're gonna do, and give us just a minute here, I'm gonna bypass this battery and hook the RAM directly to this car's battery leads, and then hope that if there is a dead cell in here and we get around it, that it'll go ahead and fire up running directly off of the RAM's battery. And if it will do that, then we know for sure everything else is okay. We'll just go buy a battery for it. But I'm fairly certain at this point that this battery has bit the dust on us because it's very warm. All right, so as you can see here, Brittany, show them that. I've removed the battery from the circuit. All we have is on jumper cable to the RAM, and then we have the battery charger supplying some 250 amps on top of that. Let's see if the truck is going to decide, the car is going to decide to turn over quicker. If the car turns over quicker, we'll try to get it to start. If not, regardless, that tells us that we need to replace the battery. So let's see how it acts. All right, so what I'm doing right now is this has got a manual pump to pump diesel into the fuel pump. Obviously, we've bypassed that battery, got some good connections, and we're getting enough amperage to turn the starter. So now what we need to do is get diesel to get into this pump. Get some pressure built. We should be able to make it pop off. I think it might still not be turning fast enough. The problem is if it doesn't turn fast enough, it's very difficult for the injection pump to pull a prime. So we can try breaking injectors, so on and so forth, but the fact that we know the battery is bad, we might just have to stop put a new battery in it. That way it turns faster to help us get the injectors prime. You good?
Yeah.
All right.
How much diesel's in it?
What?
Stupid question. How much diesel's in it?
It's got diesel. You can see it in the filters.
All right.
Miss Lois is going to watch the tailpipe this time and see if there's any evidence of diesel making it into the motor. So we're drawing amperage. It's turning over. These cables are very warm. It's obviously being helped by the fact that we're getting more voltage directly to the starter. But the fact that there's nothing puffing out of the exhaust pipe, the motor has begun to spin more freely, and that could be evidence of diesel making it into the cylinders. But if the motor doesn't spin fast enough, especially if it's old and the compression's a little low, especially if the rings are a little stuck because it's been sitting for a while, it might not be building enough compression to hit, so we need to spin the motor faster. The very first thing, though, me and Mike is going to do before we run off right this second to grab a battery is we're going to break the injection lines open and pump the primer pump and see if some diesel will come out of the injection lines, just to make sure we have diesel flow. I can see diesel sitting in the filters. The filters don't look plugged. Do we need to make sure diesel's actually making it to the injectors? Assuming that's all okay, we're going to go buy a brand new battery, plop that in here, get rid of all of the jumper stuff, just put the charger on it to make sure it's got some juice, and then we'll get at trying to prime up the injection pump and getting it to go. I'm fairly certain at this point that we can get this to start today. We'll bring y'all back. But it feels like as you're pumping, it does eventually build some pressure. It feels that way anyways. But like I said, there's an easy way for us to find out if this is happening or not. We can break these injector nuts loose just like you would on the 24 valve, and then look to see if diesel will squirt out of them. Which one's the easiest to get to? How about you? Of course, the camera's in a shadow right now, and I know y'all aren't going to be able to see this very well. But what we're doing is breaking this nut loose. This is where the injection line meets cylinder number 2. I'm going to open the pump up here, pump some diesel, and hopefully at some point see some diesel come to the top. And for all we know, it's hopelessly airlocked right now and just needs a full prime. And I said what makes it worse is if the motor isn't spinning fast enough, it's very difficult to pull a prime. Very, very. So what I'm going to do right now, just to see if I can see diesel come out somewhere, is I'm going to break all 5 injection nuts loose here directly on the pump. And then I'm going to pump it up again. And hopefully we can see some diesel come up to the top. What I don't know about these old girls is whether or not they use an electronic pump in the tank to lift. The fuel doesn't appear to be agitated down here by anything. I already see some diesel. That's a good sign. Can you see that, Brittany? See that diesel leaking around this injection line? That's diesel. And if I do this, hopefully we can get it to piss out of somewhere. Tell you what, little pump doesn't feel good. It almost requires too little effort. I'm gonna tighten this one back up top again. I think that's the only reason why it dripped some diesel back down at us, is we broke the vacuum loose on the line. Tell you what, so that's what we're gonna do. I'd like to turn the motor over while these lines are cracked loose to see if some diesel will move.
Yep.
Diesel?
Yeah, only out of that one though. Out of the
Which one did it come from?
Second one from the left.
All right, so what I'm doing, guys, is that since we confirmed to have diesel at this location, I'm gonna close this nut. Got it on 50?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. So now that we know we have diesel coming to here, I'm gonna close it, and then hopefully we start seeing diesel poop out of the other ones. All right, turn back to 250. Number 3's pissing. Yep. It's also turning over faster, which is great. Huh?
1, 4, and 5.
They're all leaking?
Yes.
Turn it down, Mikey. So all I'm trying to do here, y'all, is to chase air out of these lines.
Nearly as much as the last one.
Okay. Turn it down, Mikey. While I'm between keystrokes, just immediately turn it down.
All right.
Why?
It's not putting too much strain on everything. Whenever it's turned up like that, it's putting 250 amps in, and it's not meant to be run continuous like that.
Yes. Okay, yes.
All right, turn it down, Mikey.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm going to pop the top side of the line open, and one at a time try to get them to leak diesel up here.
So I'm doing the same thing, just watching those instead?
Right, but I'm only going to open these one at a time.
Why?
Because in the hopes of it catching by itself and just starting.
Okay.
Yeah, got diesel up there. Hopefully, if we're lucky, at some point we should start seeing a positive response. We should hear the motor gallop and spit. That's what we're hoping for right now. If we can get this motor to start coughing, it'll start. That's the one we're working on right now. It's in a very awkward place. All right, so car's just not turning over fast enough. We've managed to get diesel to all 5 injectors. It's on both sides of the line. We're putting a lot of stress on the jump pack situation, the jumper cable situation we've got going right now. It's just not ideal. I need this motor to turn over about 200-300 RPM more, I think, to possibly have any chance of it actually picking up enough fuel pressure to hit. So we're gonna yank that battery out of here, go to the store, grab another one, come back, stick it in, just put the charger on it to maintain a charge. And then it's most likely going to involve a lot of hold the gas pedal down on the floor, throttle down on the floor, and turn the key and give the starter a break from time to time just to try to get it to lift diesel. We'll bring you back when we're back with that.
Well, it's a German car, so they got to be Guten tight.
That's right. Boys got joke for days.
Look at that. She's moving now.
Is very little diesel puffing out the exhaust, which tells me probably only one cylinder is hitting or trying to hit. It's getting diesel, so we need to bleed it some more. Go ahead.
Ready?
Roll her over. So there's diesel up here, but not near as much pressure as I would expect to see. A lot more smoke now. You see the difference in the amount of smoke coming from the tailpipe?
It smells horrible.
Yep. This bit come from under the car. It almost seemed like it's got an exhaust leak down there. Came off
the muffler's on the ground.
the downpipe. Yeah, there's that too. Probably shouldn't judge the exhaust system considering the muffler's sitting on the ground. There's a squirt. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, girl. That was a hit. Stop. There was a hit. Did you hear the hit? Could you hear the difference when it wanted to hit? Oh, baby. Talk dirty to me. Look at that air. Oh, that's a hit. Come on. All right, stop. She's hitting. One of the cylinders is hitting. It doesn't seem like it yet because you can't hear it over all that noise. But one of the cylinders is hitting.
Can't hear it all over all the beeping.
It kind of bumped backwards. Yeah,
Kind of noise.
you're hearing it bump backwards when a cylinder is hitting, and it kind of makes the belt squeal a little bit. You might hear a ton of that whenever it finally decides to start up. We're not getting enough diesel pressure. The injectors just can't quite get there. They need more pressure than what they're supplying. Otherwise, they're not going to pop. Oh, 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 oh! Stop! I'm not sure. I'll be real with you. Oh, shit. Hey, Brittany, don't stand right there.
Danger, danger.
Didn't plan to get squirted on today.
Come on, girl, catch your prime. Go ahead. So, the fact that it wants to start and run on this and then immediately die means that it's not getting fuel, enough fuel from the injection system. We ran it for long enough that it completely lost all diesel prime. If it was lifting diesel like it was supposed to, it shouldn't, but I've got a feeling that it probably isn't. I think it's not. And I think if we pop this off and Mikey turns it over, Mikey, we're probably going to see it's not going to move much. Stop! And it's just steadily dripping diesel up here too.
So what are you doing?
I am bypassing the filters and going straight into the lift pump. The reason why I'm doing this is I suspect possibly it was pulling air from them.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't have enough pressure.
It can't build pressure because it's getting air on the backside. So let's get them out of the way. It's pretty easy to do. I can tell you that one of these fell right off. This wasn't even really on there. So that's a good place for it to pull air. Yummy.
She squirts.
Yeah, she squirts all right. I don't know that that's enough. Lift pump still feels a little iffy. Definitely feels better. I think our lift pump has bit the dust on us here. Not only is the free flow fuel, the flow from the tank free, it's free enough that when I pull this black hose off of here, it dribbles out of the black hose freely, like under a vacuum siphon. So if it was plugged, it wouldn't be able to do something like that. So for sure, coming from the tank side, it's okay.
Okay.
But
Somewhere in here, it's starving.
it's yes, not getting enough fuel. But what I notice I can do is that this should be able to build lots of pressure. At some point, it should push my finger off, which is very lightly touching it. But it's just barely there.
Oh.
And you see the amount of air that's
Oh.
coming with it.
Yeah.
So definitely fuel. The motor seems to be okay. It wants to start.
Yeah.
So
But
what's the diagnosis, Doc?
pretty sure the lift pump has failed. It needs a new lift pump. Needs the lift pump rebuilt. We're dragging this home. It's going to need to come to my driveway so that I can order some parts to rebuild that lift pump. Rebuild it, put it together, and I bet you I turn the key, and after 4 revolutions it pops off and runs. All right, everyone. So obviously we're pumping up the tires, but it's not because the motor wants to run. I found where some air might have been getting into the system, but it seems like the lift pump is not building pressure. And also when the lift pump is priming, that it's inducing air bubbles into the injection pump. It's going to stop it from running, because we can get the lift pump, the hand lift pump going for a while, turn the key, it'll bump on a cylinder or two, and then stop and then just smoke a little bit. So we're gonna do the sketchy thing and drag it all the way to my house, put it in the driveway so I can order some overnight parts from Japan, Germany.
From Germany.
And
England.
England. And rebuild the lift pump. And I'm fairly certain with a rebuilt lift pump, a few pumps of the hand and turn the key, it'll probably fire right off. I can almost guarantee it, because when we give it a sniff of starting fluid, it anxiously pops as soon as it smells some. So.
And what do we do with the tires don't air up? Then what?
Say what?
Then what do we do with the
They're
tires
airing.
don't air up?
That was flat on the ground.
Okay.
It's getting there. I don't know how long it's going to hold air.
What if it goes flat while we're dragging it over the bridge?
Then we're going to have to stop, put
On the
air in
bridge.
it, and keep going.
That'll be fine.
Yes. Anyways, since both Brittany and Mikey will have to be driving a vehicle while we're driving it home, I don't think we're probably really going to be able to get a shot of this. I'm going to try. I'm going to have my camera in the car with me to show you how sketchy it is while I'm driving. And maybe Brittany, if she's not too busy shifting a stick, she can take a quick video of us doing something sketchy. But don't expect too much interesting video having this on the way there. But we'll bring you back when we got it strapped up and we're about to pull away. See you in a minute. All right, everyone. Brittany's still busy complaining about how janky the Corolla is. She's making fun of my baby. But we have the Mercedes 300 SD strapped to the back of the Dodge truck with brakes that we're not quite sure how good they are. We're gonna find out, right, Mikey? Let's try. So as you saw in that video clip that Brittany thankfully got, the brakes, they're a little warm, because you see in South Louisiana we have water, a lot of it, and that means bridges. We went over a real big bridge and I had to try to keep it under control going down, and well, she got warm.
He was talking to me on the phone. He's like, "Man, it's getting really hot in this cab." I look and there's like smoke pouring everywhere.
Smoke pouring out from the brakes.
Die.
So I just went, we're letting the brakes cool down. It boiled the reservoir. The car appears to be free again. We're gonna give it a little bit of time. We're maybe 2.25 miles from my house. Like, it's really just right down the road right here. So we're almost there. We'll bring you back. All right, so y'all know the meme they have, or the video, where the guy goes, you know, it slows down, it goes to pause, a nice black shade comes over the film, and some guy goes, "It was at this moment he realized he fucked up." We had that moment. So the brakes boiled, right? And we were at the school over there letting them cool down. Well, I didn't test the brakes again after they cooled down to see how they were, so we went through the school turnaround. We got on the highway and came up to the one intersection that's left before you get to my neighborhood. Brake pedal straight to the floor. Absolutely nothing. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look at the video that Brittany caught, but I was zigging left and right. I told Mikey, this is it, bruh. I've got nothing. He's like, oh crap, you've got nothing. I already picked the side of Mikey's bumper. I was about to annihilate to bring that car to a stop. And it just so happens to be traffic started rolling again. And after stabbing the brake pedal 4 or 5 times, I found just the tiniest bit of brake pressure all the way at the bottom. And then to make it worse, we get through the intersection, the first neighborhood we go to cross, a freaking car jumps out right in front of Mikey. And I'm like, for the second time, we're like, oh, it's gonna happen. I picked the side.
And it wasn't the pull out in front of you where they're like a little ways away. It's like right
in front of him. Luckily, they decided to get up and go. And
after
Mikey,
like a good minute or so.
yeah, Mikey was laying on the horn the whole time. They decided to get up and go. Mikey took off to get away from me again. And, you know, it slapped the strap real hard, but we were able to avoid touching each other. All of the pieces of this car are expensive, so anything I break is going to be expensive to fix. That being said, apparently I've broken myself some brakes, so I had that to the list of crap that needs to be fixed. Certainly not this big doo-doo hole right here. Oh, hey.
Okay, so we learned earlier, I said that's to cool off the brakes. No,
it didn't help, right, Mikey?
did not help.
All right, well, I'm gonna get inside and wash all this stinky diesel off me. Mikey's gonna go home. We're supposed to be taking a rest day from the gym. We're gonna start on that at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But thank you, Mikey, for coming along. He did the most he could do considering he's recovering from an injury.
I drove the beast over there, so we're good.
Yeah. Y'all check us out, murphyslawgarage.com. You have at Murphy's Law Garage, YouTube, on Facebook, at Murphy's Law Garage on Instagram, and as usual.
Twitter, all that.
Go ahead.
Oh, have Murphy's Law Garage, no E on the Twitter. Sun on my face, sorry.
Right. As usual, we love you. God bless. Peace.